.http, right? Or something like a looping. So this also we can do. While writing the playbook, cookbooks, we make it requirements like this, right? So there might be some requirement wherein we specify if this file exists, let us say etc password, or we'll take SSH configuration. If sshd underscore config file exists, do this. If doesn't exist, if the file doesn't exist, create it using templates. Right? So for this kind of things, we can use something called onlyif keyword. So this onlyif, this will be executed only if the file is present or file is not present. Right? So there is something called notif also. This will be executed if the file is not present. Right? And there is something called notify. Okay. So what is notify? This is same like handlers in Ansible, wherein here there is some extra functionality. Something like, let us say there is a configuration file for a process. Okay. So if configuration file is changed, process has to be restarted. So that is what we generally do in handlers. If something happens, perform this action, post action, something like that we do in case of handlers in Ansible. Right? Same thing we can do here also. But let us assume a scenario, something like, let us say there is 100 lines of playbook, right? And in the first line, we change something in the configuration file. So config file is changed. So this process has to be restarted immediately, or it can be restarted at the end of the playbook, at the end of the chef client execution. So this we can control. This behavior we can control using a keyword called notify restart. So this restart we can give, and here we can give something like immediately or delayed. So delayed is something like it will be executed at the end of the playbook. Immediately will be executed immediately after this file is changed. Right? That is notify. Right? So we will see some of the cookbooks related to this kind of functionalities, looping and if loop and all, when. So I have again the same setup, server, cookbooks. We'll see notif first. Okay, so this is a template temp some file. Let us say I'll say file 123. Do mode is 0755. Source is some file. So this file, some file is present in templates. So this file has to be copied to this file. This is the destination. This is the source. Source is present in the chef workstation. This has to be created on the chef client. Not if do file exists. If this file exists, this action will not be executed. If the file doesn't exist, it will create the new file. Okay, we'll see two cases. See, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to copy a file.
So this is a client server, right? The one that we configured in the last. This is just a client only, right?
Yeah, this is workstation. Whatever we do is on workstation. We interact with workstation development.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
yeah.
I'm trying to copy file. Let us say what is that? Some file 123 from workstation to client, right? But this some file 123 is there in the, so we know what is the architecture of cookbook. How does it look like? Chef-repo, cookbooks, then cookbook name, notif is my name. Then under that we have templates. Under that I have some file 123. So this is same like a templates in Ansible. We configure, we copy the file from the workstation to the clients, multiple clients, right? So we do some modification on the workstation, and that will be copied to all the clients and a process will be restarted, right? So this is what we do generally in case of templates. So same thing I want to do, some file 123 I want to copy from workstation to client. So this is the source, and what is the destination? Destination is I have given some location. This is on the client, okay, some file 123. But I have a condition. What is the condition? If file etc password doesn't exist, then only do this. Okay, if the file is not, if exists, it will not do this. If file doesn't exist, then only this action will be performed. That is what you mean by only not if. Okay, the file some file 123 from workstation will be copied to the client into the location temp some file 123 if this file does not exist. So by default this file exists on the client. So let us try. This should not get executed. This file should not get copied to the client if this file exists, right? So I'll go to client and see temp some file 123. This file is not there, right? So this has to be copied. So some file is the one which is on the workstation, and etc password is already existing on the client, right? So this is existing. So this should not create temp some file 123 if I execute this. And what is this source? Where is it present? This is present in the templates inside the same cookbook, right? So if I go to templates, so there is something called some file, right? So I'll modify something. Is this clear? Is this clear? Let us try to upload first. Upload to server. Not if is the cookbook name. Okay, cookbook is uploaded. Now we'll modify the run list. Okay, so run list can be modified using the run list command. What is the command to modify run list? Knife node run underscore list add node name cookbook name. This will add the cookbook to that particular node, right? Instead of that, what I can do is I can simply edit knife node edit and the node name. So this will give me a VI editor. Okay, there all the associated cookbooks will be present. So simply I can delete some of them, add some of them. So that is equal to editing the run list, right? Okay, so let me try that. Edit knife node edit and the node name. So if you see, this is a VI editor. So here there is already a recipe is present. I'll just delete this and I'll add notif. Okay, and save it. So this will actually update the run list for client 1. Now if I go to client 1 and execute chef client, this should not create temp some file 123 because etc password is present. If this is not present, this file will be created. This file will be created from workstation, from the templates directory. If you see, it says temp file some file 123 action created skipped due to notif. Okay, so this will skip the action and this file will not be created because etc password is already present on the client, right? Is this clear? Now if I see if this file is created, temp some file 123, file is not created, right? Now if I go to the workstation and I modify the cookbook, notif recipes default.rb. So what I'll do is instead of this file, I'll change something which is not existing. Let us say passwd123 is the file which is not there. Since this file, like it will check if this file is existing. This file is not there, right? So then this action has to be performed. What is this action? This sum file from the workstation has to be copied to the client into the location temp sum file 123. Now let me see if this file is present on the client. This file is not present. etc password is there, which was the previous case. etc password 123 is not there. Now this should create a file called temp sum file 123. Okay, so this is just for example. So now I'll edit this. After editing the cookbook, I again need to upload it to server, right? Okay, this is uploaded. Now if I execute chef client on the client, it will first check whether temp password, etc password 123 is present or not, if the file is existing or not. If the file is existing, it will skip. If the file is not existing, it will execute the action. What is the action? Copy the template called sum file from the workstation to client into the location temp sum file 123. So now if I see temp file sum file 123 is created, and if I see the content, it will be same as whatever we have added in the template in the workstation. Is this clear?
Yes, Santosh. Yeah.
It's simple. Only thing is it will just copy the template, but we are giving some condition to the template so that copy only if this file is existing, copy if the file doesn't exist. Okay. So in the same way, the opposite of it is only if. So something like we have only if cookbook. This is also same. Only if this file is present, then copy this. Okay. If file is not present, it will not do this. So exactly opposite of what we have seen in notif. Okay. We'll try to execute this as well. Okay. So what happens now? etc password file is present, right? So this action has to be performed. So temp file, let us say I'll change this to 12345. So temp file 12345 has to be created from some file. Where is some file? This some file is in the templates directly on the workstation, right? So let us just try to execute this. This is same as the previous one. Only thing is it is reverse of the notif. Okay. So again I need to upload it since I have changed the cookbook. Okay. I also need
every
to
time, yes, every time you're uploading the new cookbook, you're not editing the existing one, right?
every time I'm changing the cookbook, I'm not editing the existing one.
Sorry, no, I mean, you are uploading the new cookbook, right? Only if.
I mean, you mean the version?
Yes.
Yeah, version I'm not updating. I'm simply overwriting the previous one because I need to edit metadata.rb if I want to change the version.
Okay. No, I'm talking about the cookbook name. I think before we have not if, right? The other cookbook.
Yeah, so there are two cookbooks. One is not if, the other is the only if. So I have two cookbooks.
Okay. And can we like, I know it's better to have two different cookbooks. Can we edit the existing book and then upload to overwrite?
Yes,
Okay.
it will overwrite. Yes.
Okay.
That's what we did in the beginning, in the first use case. Not if
Yes.
first we have added etc password file, then we have changed
Yes.
it to etc password 123, right? So it has taken. We can write, we can do that way.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think you have done that in the first example. Yeah.
Yeah, first example I have done. Second example is onlyif. Now
Okay.
I have this edit node list. Here I have notif. Now I want to execute only if cookbook. So I'm directly going and editing in the run list. Now if I go to this node, see what happens now. I have cookbooks only if recipes default.rb. So here this sum file from the workstation will be copied to client into this location if this file exists, right? So this file doesn't exist on the client for the first time. So this has to be created. If this file is etc password is there, and where is some file? Some file is there on the workstation, right? Where is it? In the templates, some file. Okay, so I'll add something. Hello world 123, and I save it. So this template has to be copied to the workstation only if etc password file is present, right? Now I have changed some content, right? Again I need to upload it. Okay, let me upload. So this will override the previous cookbook. It will add the new content to template some file in the server, right? Now if I go ahead and execute chef client on the client, it should create a new file called temp some file 12345 with the contents from the template from the workstation. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That part, the sequence and the syntax, I think I understand. But can you go back to the workstation? Like every time you create the new cookbook, it's going to create the cookbook with. Can we like give example? Like let's say if you want to create a completely new cookbook, so it's going to create all the files like RB and all those templates, all the files,
Yeah, it
right?
will create when you generate a cookbook for the first time, it will create all
Yeah.
the files, directory structure, recipes, default.rb, metadata.rb, everything it will create by default.
Okay, so it's going to create for that whole directory structure for every single cookbook, right?
Yes,
Different.
yes,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. But I was thinking it's just one directory structures, and within the one directory structure you have different cookbooks. So it's like, okay, okay. Okay, can
Inside
we
the
create?
cookbook,
Yeah,
see,
can
I
you
go
create
to,
any example cookbook? Yeah.
okay, let me create one. So root chef-repo, so I'll say chef generate cookbooks, chef generate, I'll create a cookbook called notify process. Okay, this
Yes.
is a
Okay.
cookbook which I'm creating.
Yes.
So
Okay.
first thing you want to see notify process. There are
Yeah.
in notify there are two things. One is, what is the generate, spelling is wrong.
This one we creating from scratch, right? This one.
Sorry, generate cookbook. Cookbook generate, chef cookbook generate. Yeah, this from scratch. This is a new cookbook.
And name is notify process. Okay. Okay. Uh, generate cookbook
Generate cookbook, let us say notify
process.
process. If you see, this will create a cookbook with all the directory structure.
Okay.
Now if I go to notify process, so this is the directory structure which it creates.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Under this we have default.rb which doesn't have anything.
Yes. Okay. This is
Okay.
where we
Here
write
we
the.
can write the cookbook.
Okay. Okay.
We can
Yeah.
write and upload it to server. Okay.
And
So I
execute
already
by.
have, so I'll copy from there notify and recipes default.rb. So I have some cookbook. So that cookbook I'll copy to the newly created cookbook, which is default.rb in that notify process. Okay. So here I have template. This is the destination. This is the source. I want to create a file temp server.conf on the client, and template is server.conf, and owner root, group root, mode, notifies, run, execute the command. So either this is something like if this file is changed, we can execute the command, or we can restart a process, right? So there are two syntaxes.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you mean by notify? It's like handlers. So there are two cases what we can do. Notify is if a configuration file related to a application XYZ is changed, do this. What is that? Restart XYZ. This is one way. Or execute some command. Okay, so we are seeing this case. So execute the command. There are again two cases. Immediately execute the command, or execute after some time. In the sense at the end, execute at the end of the execution. Okay, so this is called delayed execution. This is called immediate execution, right? So if you want to see this, so what I did is just for checking whether the command is getting executed immediately or it is executing at the end of the chef client execution. What I did is, so first is template. So if let us say server.conf on the workstation and temp server.conf on the client are different, so it will try to copy this file to the destination. When the file is changed, it will notify this command. So this command will be executed immediately. What is the command? For example, I have given touch file test 123. Let us say just for example, right? So now what will happen? So this is changed. So immediately this command will be executed and a test file will be created, right? Now group is there. So this group will be created after this command executed or before this command executed. That depends on the keyword, either immediately or delayed. If it is immediately, first this file will be changed, then this command will be executed, then group will be created. If it is delayed, first this template will be copied to the client, next group will be created, next command will be executed, right? So there is a difference between immediately and delayed. Delayed is something like this will be executed at the end of the chef client execution, means group will be created in between. But if we give immediately when this file is changed, this command will be executed, then the group will be created. You can see the difference, right? Or the actions will happen, either this will be executed first if it is immediately. If it is delayed, group will be created first, then command will be executed. Is this clear?
What is this template, like the first line? That is the thing. The temp server config, with what that means by like this template, the first line. This is a little bit still confusing.
Same as Ansible. In Ansible we have template, right? So
yes.
in Ansible, how do you write something like this, right? Host, web server,
yes.
tasks.
So that's the target, right? Host was the target.
And then, yeah, we write something like this. Let us say name, hyphen name is copy a file from server to slave or agent, right? Then we write this resource name as template, the module name as template, src is equal to index.html, destination is equal to var www.html index.html. This we have seen in Ansible.
Yeah.
The same playbook, if I want to write in chef, I have to write like this: template var www.html index.html. Do anything we write it in between do and end block, right?
Yeah.
Then, so here I have specified the destination. Then where is the source? That source we specify here. Source index.html. So from where it will take, from where this will take, this will be taken from the templates directory inside the role. So this will be taken from the templates directory inside cookbook. This is role here.
Wait, Santosh. You are already given that path, right? Where www.html index.html. That is the source, right?
No, this is the destination.
Oh, that is the destination.
This is the source. See, here it says source. Source is source.
Oh.
This is destination. And I can specify user ID, group ID, mode and all, etc., etc. And then I can specify notify here. Is this clear? Both are same actually. Whatever we did in Ansible, we are doing same thing in Chef. Only syntax is different. Everything is same.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So this index.html will be copied only if these two files are different. If these files are same, it will not execute this. In the similar way, if these two files are different, then only it will execute. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So this is what we are doing, same thing. So here I am using a keyword called notify, that is to restart a process if this file is changed. Why? Say you would have seen if we change SSH configuration file, let us say you want to enable root user, you have changed SSH configuration file, right? Will that work immediately without restarting SSH? Will that configuration changes come into effect without restarting the daemon? No, right? So in the similar way, you have an application XYZ running on the machine and we have changed the configuration file. This configuration file changes will come into effect only if this application is restarted. So that's the reason why we use templates, right? If the application is changed, configuration file is changed, then restart XYZ. If it is not changed, don't restart the application because we do not want to restart the application unnecessarily, right? So that's why we use template. Is this clear?
Yeah.
So
are you going to send us those cookbooks, the one that you have?
I'll send it.
Okay, sure.
So here the only difference is I'm controlling the behavior when the application has to be restarted. This has to be started immediately after configuration file is changed, or it has to be restarted at the end, right? So that is dependent on, so to demonstrate that, I have another task, creating the group ID. So based on this, we can see whether this command is getting executed immediately or after this group is created, right? Now the keyword is immediately. So what should happen? What is the sequence?
First copy the... Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, first copy. Next.
I think then change the group ID.
Group, no, it's not. It's immediately, right?
Oh, yeah.
So first copy the file, execute the command, then create the group ID, right?
Okay.
If it is delayed, first copy the file, create the group ID, then execute the command, right? See, the sequence is, if it is immediately, copy the file using the template, execute the command, create group. If it is delayed, copy the file, create group, execute the command. Is there any difference?
It follows the order, right? If it is delayed?
Yes. It follows this order if it is delayed. It follows this order if it is immediately. Right?
If you don't put any immediately or delayed, is going to follow the order?
It will follow delayed. It will do at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll try this so to understand what is happening. So what I'll do is server.conf, so temp server123.conf I'll put. So this file has to be created on the client from server.conf and execute the command immediately, create a group. So I'll give some group name. Okay, and execute the command touch test file, something I'll give. Okay, I'll come to this later, what is action nothing. Okay, so I saved the file. Now the approach is immediately. So first approach, so it has to follow this order. So let us see. I changed this. Now I have to upload it to server. What is the cookbook name? Notify underscore process. Notify underscore process. Sorry, I'm in the wrong directory. I need to change the run list. So in the run list, only if is there, this I'll change it to notify underscore process and I'll save it. So now if I execute chef client, we can see the order of the events. Something is wrong. Okay, does not contain file any of this location. Okay. Let me see the templates. Okay, I think we have not created template. Right, so this is a new cookbook, right? So cookbook notify underscore process, and here I need to create a directory templates, and in the templates I need to create a file server.conf and I'll add something to it. Okay. Sorry. The server.conf was not present in the templates. That's why I have created a directory template. It was not created by default. So I create a template directory. Under that I have placed server.conf. Right. Now I need to upload it again because I have changed something in the cookbook.
Well, the file you created, server.conf, it's going to compare this file to
Yes.
the other file, right?
Right. It will compare this file to the file on the workstation client, but file on the client is not present, so it will try to create.
Okay.
Okay. So if you see the order, compare this order and this order. Now we used immediately. Copy the file. So it created the new file, copied the contents. This and all is for the file. What is the next action? Execute the command. Execute the command. Then group is created. Group 1890. Right? If you see the order, this is the order, right? So copy the file, execute the command, create the group. Now I'll change this order to, I'll change this to delayed. The same cookbook, notify restart. Instead of immediately, I'll say delayed. Again, I'll upload. Okay. Now again, I'll execute chef client. We'll see the difference between the previous execution and this execution in the order. Okay, nothing is executed. Why?
File already exists.
File already exists. Even if the file exists, it may change, but there is no change in the content of the file, right? So this file on the client and the file on the, this is on the client. Now I go to workstation and I'll open cookbooks, notify process and templates server.conf. These both files are same. That's the reason why it's not executed, right? Nothing is executed. Now if I change this to something and upload, now it should execute the cookbook, right? Okay, it's uploaded. Now if I execute chef client, the order should be this one, the second one. Copy the file, create the group, execute the command.
Santosh, why, like, what is the use of like having different sequences, like in practical world? Like, do you know, like, why, when we and why we need those, like,
Yeah,
different?
first see this, it's updated the file,
Yes.
group is created, then the command is executed. So group is created first, then the command is executed, right? So command execution is in the last here, but here
Yes.
command is executed immediately. So when this is useful, see, let us say there are two cases. You're writing a cookbook which is of 1,000 lines, okay, and I have made some configuration to my application file XYZ, right? In some cases, I want to restart the application immediately. Maybe some other applications or some other things are dependent on this. If I restart this, then only other things work, right? So this is at the 100th line, and at 110th line, I have something else that is dependent on this. So 110th line will work only if this application is restarted. That is one case, right? Second case is, I want, this is again 1,000 lines cookbook, and at 100th line I have done some configuration change in the file, and at 110, and there are some more configuration files that needs to be modified, and I don't want to restart the application every time, 10 times. I want to do all the changes, 200th line, 30th line, there are different files associated with the configuration, and there is one file at the 900 also, and I want to restart the application at once at the end of a cookbook, right? So this approach, second delayed will work for the this thing, second scenario. The first approach will work for the first scenario, right?
Okay, I got you. So basically, yeah, it's instead of going all the way to read all the lines, that
Right.
might be dependent on the first two lines. Okay. Just to clear the dependency on the
Yeah.
remaining of the books, right? Something like that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
Okay. So this is notify. So here we used execute the command, but we can also use restart the process. Execute command means we can give any command here, that will go ahead and execute it in case of this file is changed, but there is other syntax for restarting the process as well. So this is the syntax for restarting. Notifies restart service httpd, and that service will declare here. Okay, so this service we declared here. So whenever this file is changed, this service will be restarted immediately. That means this will be executed automatically after this file is changed. One is immediately, the other is the delayed. Okay, this is delayed, service delayed. So here the application will be HTTPD will be restarted at the end. See, group will be created first, then application will be restarted. Is this clear? Same syntax, only thing is we just changed it. Instead of executing the command, we can have something like restart the application. This is the one, notifies restart service httpd delayed, and this service definition we have to write in the below lines, something like service httpd action restart. Okay, is this clear?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so these are some of the scenarios which will be helpful while developing the cookbooks based on the requirement, right? So in some of the requirements we also may need to execute a cookbook as part of the, we need to execute a shell script, as part of cookbook execution, right? So how do we do that? So we have a cookbook, let us say of 10 lines, and this has to be executed as part of the cookbook. When cookbook is executed, this has to be executed. There is something called bash resource name, using which we can execute the cookbook. So this is how we execute. Bash is the resource name, and we can give a name to it, XYZ, some description. Then as a root user, and working directory is something we can give, current working directory, and we can put all our code here. This is the beginning of the file, this is the end of the file. Okay, so this command, these commands, whatever we put here will be executed. Okay, so we can write any playbook here that will be executed. Okay, so we'll see this. So just executing a cookbook, executing a shell script from cookbook.
So this, what is the use of code in that shell script? Like something code, one of the lines says code something.
Code.
Yeah, in the script. What is this code? Number 3, line number 3, code EOH. What is this? This one.
This is the actual code. So this is the syntax of the JSON, wherein we actually write something in between this end of this thing, EOH in the beginning and the end. In between we need to write the shell script. So that will be executed. So this is something we can actually directly copy the shell script from the workstation to the client and use execute resource. Execute is something like we can execute the shell script there also. But in some cases, if I directly want the shell script to be copied to place cookbook itself, then we can use this.
Okay.
So this is like execute the entire code which is in between these two lines. So we can write entire our copy paste our shell script here, that will be executed as root user. So we don't have to worry about the permissions of the shell script because it will take care, and with what user ID it has to execute, everything it will take care.
Because even if you don't put that code here, it will still run that thing, right? Touch. It's still gonna add all those things. Even if you don't
No, it
put.
will not understand, right? This is a shell script.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we'll try that. There is a syntax error. What is the syntax error? Let me try this first. Okay, this has some syntax issue. Was there a hyphen here? Okay, let me check the syntax in chef documentation. Okay, so this is the file. Code. Okay, do is missing. So this is copied by mistake. Okay, so here I'll write something, some shell script. Here it has syntax issue. Okay, the do block has to be at in the same line. Okay, do and end block, in between we have written something, and I have written a shell script that is in between the lines EOH, and it will be executed as a root user in the working directory temp. Okay, so I uploaded it, and now I need to change the run list for the client one. Sorry, not add, edit. this now. I'll remove one and add the cookbook name shell scr and save it. Okay, now if I execute chef client on the machine, this should execute the shell script.
So basically, we're using a shell script on the client to run the to pull the cookbook, right?
We are just executing shell script on the client.
Yes.
That shell script we have just added as a code in the cookbook. So when cookbook is getting executed, it will also execute the lines of code, which is a basically shell script on the client.
Okay. Now I understand. Okay. So we have a shell script on the client, which will be executed as part of the cookbook, right? As
I mean, it's
one of
not there on the client actually. It is just it will just execute the lines of code which is added as part of the cookbook. I mean, that shell script is not present on the client. It is just a part of the cookbook, right? So that shell script we have not copied to the client. It is just present in the cookbook code, right?
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Monday's video, October 2nd. Okay.
Yeah, so basically we make a connection in the cookbook to execute that shell script on the client,
Exactly.
right?
Right, exactly.
It will run the cookbook, whatever the cookbook is, and basically the cookbook is nothing but to execute the shell script on the client, right?
Exactly, right.
Okay.
So there is an error. Let me try. Okay. Okay, so it's saved. Now if I execute chef client on the client, we should execute the shell script. Okay, let's just execute. The next thing is if we want to execute multiple packages, let us say I want to install multiple packages, we can also give in a kind of loop, right? So let us say package 1, package 2, package 3, and then dot each do something like I, Then we can say action is install and then end. So what this will do is this will iterate through this loop and it will perform the action, right? So it will install the package 1, package 2 and package 3 on the client, right? And there is also something called when loop. So when let us say OS underscore family is Red Hat, we can specify the package name. Let us say package name is equal to Apache 2. So action is install, right? In the same way, OS underscore family is equal to Ubuntu. Package name is equal to, sorry, here it says HTTPD and here it is Apache 2 and action is installed. So this also works. So these are the two things. One is how to iterate. The other is how to have something like a if loop. If the family is this thing, perform this. If the family is this thing, perform this. Like this also, we can execute the cookbooks. Okay. So this is finished. Something is executed. Let us see if that shell script is executed. So in this thing, test 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us see if this is created. Yes, this is created before 3 minutes, right? And what is the other one? This thing, touch temp. This is also created. So this shell script is executed on the client, right? So simple, just we executed a shell script. Cookbooks, when recipes, default at RB. So this is the actual syntax. Package, install Apache, do, case, node, platform. So this actually we are getting from a component of Chef which has all the information about the clients. What is that component? Which component gets information or gathers system variables for all the clients? Component in Chef that gathers system variables for all the clients. So those variables we can use inside the cookbooks. What is that component called? Something like facts. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, Santosh.
Okay. This is called OHI profiler, right? Something like facts in Ansible. If I just type OHI here on the client, it will list all the system variables, right? So this OHI profiler will get the value and it will replace here node.platform. So this platform is, it will list either Red Hat or CentOS or Ubuntu or Debian. So based on that, I'm writing when the platform is Red Hat, do this. When the platform is Ubuntu, do this, right? So this way also we can write. Okay, this also I think I have listed here. So this is something like a package So any of this syntax works. This is one syntax. We can put in percentile W and in curly braces, or we can also give something like this, package HTTP do action install. So this will install all the packages in this list. This is something like array. It will read from the array iteratively and it will perform the action which is specified. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, Santosh. I think we have to do practice a lot to make it
Yeah.
function.
So it's like a complete programming language. There are a lot of options available in Chef. So for each resource, there will be multiple options, multiple behaviors. So based on the requirement, we need to search the Chef documentation, then execute that particular action. Okay. Then the next thing is supermarket, wherein we can download the cookbook, right? And let us say NTP cookbook, and we can just download the cookbook, read the description, and execute it, right? So here it is given like on which platforms it is supported. If I search for NTP, all these are the cookbooks, NTPD, NTP cluster, etc., NTP date and all. Okay, so we can select one of them and see what is the distribution it supports, right? So this is supported on these platforms. Okay.
Santosh, is it a public Chef server, cloud server available also for free?
Yeah, it's available. Yeah, it's free. It's available.
So basically, you can just go and have an account at Chef and
we have to sign up first. After signing up, they'll provide something called keys. They'll provide a zip file. In that, all the keys will be present. That keys we need to copy to our client, and then we can same way execute the cookbooks how we are executing. But only thing is server will be present on the Chef cloud.
On the Chef cloud, okay. Okay, so you basically, that is like free for public, or is something you have to pay for?
That is free. See, actually, Chef is also available in AWS. That is called OPS Works. That is one AWS service.
OPS, okay. OPS works.
Service. Yeah.
Okay.
For the deployment, they internally use the Chef.
Oh, okay. So basically, there's a server called OPS that you deploy as an instance?
Yeah, right. Something like that they do. I have also not explored this service.
Okay.
So this is basically used for the migrations, it seems. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So this cookbook we can actually download. We have download option. So this we can copy it to the server into the cookbooks directory. Then we can directly execute this cookbook. Okay. So I just downloaded and I want to copy it to my server. Sorry, development kit, workstation we need to copy. So I'll just get the IP. Okay, so I'll copy the NTP cookbook to cookbooks directory. Under cookbooks, I'll extract. So this is the cookbook, right? So it has recipes, templates, all these directories. Now, if I want to execute, first let us execute this and see whether it works. Then we'll see. First we'll upload. So what this will do is this NTP is a network time protocol, right? What this will do, this will sync the machine time with the a centralized server. Let us say I have 100 machines in the lab and all machines should have the same time. Should be in time sync, because if I want to check the logs on all the machines, maybe application is running and that time has to be synchronized across all machines. For that, what we do is we configure one of the machine as NTP server and remaining machines are NTP clients, right? So whatever the time is on the server will be synced to all clients. So that in that way, all clients will have the same time synchronization, right? Same time zone. So for this, what we need to do is we need to do some configurations. NTP server packages we need to install. NTP client packages will install. Some configuration files we need to change. All that stuff we need to do. So that and all is done by this cookbook. Okay. So this cookbook will by default install the packages, NTP packages, NTP date packages, and it will do some configuration changes, and then it will restart the process NTPD so that all the clients will come into the same time synchronization, right?
Yes, Santosh. So we are uploading the cookbook. So after uploading, we're going to change the run list also, right?
Exactly. So we need to again edit the run list. We have some, we have to modify the recipe. Here shell is here is there that we need to modify it to
NTP.
And then this we need to execute on the client. That will actually install the packages on the client.
Yeah, the run list is on the server, right? That's right, right?
Sorry, what is it?
Run list.
Run list on the development kit or workstation. So we actually do not need to touch the server. Every time we log into the workstation and we perform something, we upload the cookbook, we write the cookbook, we edit the cookbook, we create the run list, we upload everything we do on the development kit. Actually, when we do upload, it is getting uploaded to server, but we do not even have to touch the server unless we want to see the graphical user interface. If you want to do something on the graphical user interface, then we need to open the server graphical user interface and perform something.
Okay, so you upload the cookbook on the server will fetch the cookbook, but then it's going to look at the run list on the development kit and right, and it's a chef client gonna be look for, and then when you execute, it's take the run list from the development kit and cookbook from the server, right?
Exactly. So when chef client starts executing chef client, it actually contacts the server and it gets the cookbook, and it contacts the workstation, it gets the run list. Then it will start executing the cookbook.
Okay.
So if you have some requirement, what is the first thing to do? First we need to go to supermarket, search for the requirement, whether it may be LDAP, MySQL, NTP, anything you want to configure. Then search for the cookbook and get the latest cookbook, download it to the workstation, upload it to server, change the run list, and then execute. So while executing, it may fail sometimes. Maybe the requirement is different. Then that time we need to edit the cookbook and modify something, then use it. So there might be some Ruby syntax, there might be some Ruby code. So if something doesn't work, we may have to modify that as well. Okay.
Yeah, all we need to do is to just change the run list and execute, just upload the cookbook and then execute it, right?
Right. So sometimes cookbook may not be compatible with the version which you are using. So that time we need to find out the right cookbook and execute. And sometimes it may not work also if the package names are different. Then we may need to do some kind of debugging.
Santosh, well, this chef, I know it's a very complicated, like compared to Ansible. Like, but what are the like common tasks that companies are doing using this chef? Like, what are using it for? Doing what exactly? Using
for deployment. Let us say we want to deploy to existing infrastructure, install the packages of that application, do the configuration changes, restart the process, all the stuff we can do, create the users. So any infrastructure management, if you want to do on multiple machines, applying the patch, all the stuff we can do. So it's a regular, whatever we can do with Ansible, the same thing can be done with Chef.
Okay, basically mainly for deployments, right? Like integration, as Ansible tool, just like Ansible, right?
Yeah, Ansible tool or infrastructure management also we can do. Let us say I am a Linux admin and I have 100 machines. and I can create a server and I can add all the clients to my server, and whenever I want to do something, a patch update or user create or firewall change, process restart, everything I could do using Chef.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, this will take some time. We'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow.